Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. If this is your first video, hi, I'm Arlathia. So for this one, it is page 17. So we're moving right, 18, sorry, wrong one. So here's a sketch, my chicken scratch. So I just started doing a little differently where I did like just trying to figure out the poses and then did a sketch of the page. So here's the actual sketch, the under sketch. So this was also an experiment because turned the video around, but I guess I kind of don't like that because it's got the bars. But I was just trying something new because I kind of want to give it like a way to like you guys could easier see everything easier, so it wasn't like so turned. But I guess not a good idea unless y'all feel differently. So we'll see. But I also think next time I'll just try and maybe give more of an overhead view. So we'll see. But for this page, so now we're getting to the action. So for this panel specifically, also I've been like reading more, so I kind of like seeing like the inner thoughts of the characters. So kind of want to start doing that here with the comics too, where it's like you can kind of see what they're thinking. Obviously, the more I'll do it with other characters, but for now, because we're focused on Arlathia, it's just Arlathia thoughts. Except for Kanan, I have him going "oh shit" several times, which you'll see later on. But that was kind of the idea here. And so for this panel, what I wanted specifically was us kind of seeing it through her eyes because she has dragon eyes, right? She's part dragon, so obviously it's like hawks, right? Extremely good vision. Predators have good vision. That's what I wanted to do here. So that's why the background is a lot closer and it's a lot more detailed because it is through her. And that's just the way she looks, especially when she's focusing on something. That's just the way it looks. And then later on when I do color, and you'll see the color for this, you'll see actually I don't re-outline Celestin or Alethea here. I actually kind of have them almost blurred in the background a little bit because I didn't want them to be the main focus. Like I wanted the main focus on the walkway is what I call it, which is almost like the borders between the different continents on the planet. So that's what I was doing here. So it's just like a way for them to get around. It's just one of the ways that they can use. But that's what it's for, because it's actually connected across all the continents, but it does act as a natural border between the different ones. So you can kind of literally use it to go anywhere you need to if you don't want to fly or whatever. But that's what this is. That's also why it's a lot closer than in other panels. Is because she's focused on it. So it's kind of like dragging it in and drawing it in was the idea here. So for this, I was putting a lot more detail in it than I would have. But I just almost want to try and just give that effect that we're seeing it through her now. And also just seeing her and her thoughts. Because I think that would just be kind of a cool thing. Because I don't really see comics do that very much. So I was like, I could literally treat it like a story, like an actual graphic novel, and have the normalcies of a comic, but give that inner thought of what you would see in a book. So I just want to have that because I know some of them do it, but I want to have it like literally throughout the entire thing, not just at certain points. Like I want to have it just constantly there. So you get a mixture of both. But later on, we'll add in more character thoughts, which it will happen. But right now, for this page, since it was also the first time of me doing this, which I thought was also good because it was like the second half of the first issue, was to just do that. So kind of that nice little transition of just seeing more. But yeah, so I was just trying to add in some detail. I did not like perfect detail. She's not that good. Plus, she's also sliding down the mountain. The hill is what I call them that they're on. Uh, So just to kind of give, just that clear focus for a second of what she's looking at before she moves on is what I wanted here. So I think I kind of got the effect. I don't know for sure, but I thought it was a good idea to kind of just do that and just kind of give you more of what the character looks like. That's just what I wanted. So I think it works. But yeah, so add in a little bit of detail on her, but later on when I go to outline it again, I don't touch her. Yeah, you see Kanan going "oh shit" twice. Yeah, this was also backed up a little bit, but again, I was trying to mess with it, but I don't really think I like it. Oh well, it's okay to experiment every now and then. Yeah. So now we're kind of getting into it. So now she's sliding down the mountain. So now she's telling Myra here she's gonna take the boys to the walkway while she takes care of rights that are not in the way to kind of hold off for a second before they continue on, which Myra understands. And so we're actually going to see on the next page her mutation. So we're going to see the first mutation. And she's a bat, so it kind of makes sense for her to sit there and fly. But she's got to mutate because she can't carry all three of them like that because she's not like her. She's good for just carrying herself with her wings, but she's got to be a lot bigger and stuff if she's going to carry all of them. So that's what she's doing. But Kanan is going, oh shit, because he is afraid of heights. He does not like them. So this is kind of terrifying for him because he's sliding down a mountain. Like he's staring at the ground way beneath him. Obviously, we can't see that because of the way I positioned it, but that's what's going on. And he can't. So I thought that was kind of just like a funny little moment to kind of have his face in like pure terror while everybody else is like focused. He's the one freaking out right now. But that was the cost of coming, because he knew that like stuff was gonna happen, so it's not all easiness going on. So he's got to be a little freaked out. I got Celestin looking at them because Celestin's kind of paying attention. Like he's the quiet one essentially. Like he's the cool cat. He's the quiet guy. The strong silent type. He does talk, which you'll see eventually. But for now, he's kind of just like listening. So that's why he's still behind Arlathia, but he's kind of looking at him, not saying anything, because he's just, he's getting ready, like he knows what's about to happen. And Kanan just isn't focused, period. But yes, Arlathia is the one in charge, and they all know she is. But also, I was trying to do the lighting a certain way, because the sun is now, like, pointed at them, so I was like, okay, well, how's it gonna hit? Like, it's still gotta have some kind of shading there, like, it can't just be flat. So I was trying to guess as best as I could. Didn't necessarily work out, but I was trying to give it the shadow like right in front. So that's what we had going on here. Which kind of works out. But gotta work on that a little bit. But yeah, I was just trying to think because I'm like, I gotta add something in here. I can't just have it without anything because it can't just be flat and boring. Like it's gotta have some type of dimension. So that's what I was trying to do. Like it kind of works though. Certain areas it does because certain areas are easier than others. Like Myra's face because the sun's like full on her face, and I was like, well, what can I do? I was also making it a little bit splotchy because it's fur, so it can't be straight lines. That's what I was trying to do too. Because I didn't want to like put in like straight up like fur detail throughout everything, but kind of just giving that illusion that it's there. Because I'm like, I don't have patience for that, and I'm not a realism artist. So if I can give someone of the illusion that there's fur, I will do that. That's what I was trying to do. It is kind of fun seeing them all together, though. It's a lot of work, but it's fun because they're all a bunch of different colors. But I don't know, it's just entertaining to see them all together. But they're all a joy anyway. So, but yeah, so from here on out now, we'll start seeing more action and everything going on. That's the whole point. That's what I want to do. Arlathia was a little easier because a lot of her is like pointed away. So for me, it was actually easier to color. So I figured her tail and her arm here would be like behind the rest of her because it is pointed to the back. So that's what I figured versus, I mean, there might have been a little bit of sun on it, like her hand anyway, like the back. But I feel like the forearm and the bicep and the shoulder would be behind it, would be in shadow. Because the sun won't be fully on it, because they are kind of like directly behind her because of how she's turned. So it kind of figured her left half essentially is in the shadow, and then the right half would be more in the light. So for me, that kind of made sense. So that's what I was trying to do. So some of it works, some of it doesn't. Oh well, it's whatever. That's just what we did. We're learning. So it still turned out pretty good though. She is dark, but that's just the way it is. So also with the hair, like I'm trying to get better at the hair because I'm not very good at it. So it's like I'm trying to like learn and do it on my own. And like trying to like find my style with hair. Which I know because it's flying backwards, it's a little easier to deal with because there's like more movement in the hair. Versus it just staying stagnant and just not moving. So that's what I was trying to do too. But yeah, I probably put some shadows in places that weren't supposed to go there. But it's like again, I'm trying to give it that 3D like that look. Like a 3D look kind of. there is dimension, there is still muscle under there and bone and everything. No, I'm not an expert on that. No way in hell I am I, and I'm not gonna try to be, 'cause that's just I don't do that. But trying to give the illusion. That's all I pretty much do. Is I just want to give the illusion that something's there. So for this panel, so now she's kind of looking behind her at right because now he's coming. I put Kanan down there in the corner. I thought that'd be kind of funny just to have him with his arse flailing back. But we're mostly focused on her, which you'll see here in a minute, because I kind of put right almost blurred out like I did his color right there because he is a little closer, but I didn't put in like a whole bunch of shading or detail in him because there wasn't really any point. Because I didn't want to have him like in focus necessarily. I wanted her to have her in focus because she's the one thinking right now. No, it's not a complete sentence, but I feel like when you're in the middle of trying to do something and it's like life or death, you're not gonna have complete sentences either. So that was the kind of idea here. But yeah, so I made write quick and easy because I just didn't want to have a lot going on with him. Like I want to give the idea that again there is some detail there because he's huge and he's closer than a lot closer than he was, but not so much that we're necessarily focused on him. Like we know he's coming towards us, but still trying to almost blur him out a tiny bit because she's not fully focused. That's why I gave Kanan more detail and coloring. I didn't outline him though, because I did again. He's not the one that fully focused on. He's more or less just there, like in the front, but we're not focused on him. So I'm just trying to find like that happy medium of what makes sense. So I'm trying to figure that out too, because I don't, because the pencil, the Prismacolors do go over the what you might call it, the line art. So it kind of like lightens it up. So that's why when I don't mind doing it the first time because it does help and it gives an interesting effect. That's why I do it a second time to kind of actually point out what I really want looking at because there's more detail now. Like I just brought the detail back out. That's why in all the drawings that's what I do. That's why the very background barely has anything ever done to it because it's like it's in the background. Like no focused on it. Um, that's kind of the idea. And yes, I do re-outline the words because I know they're a little bit dark. Just because of the color, like they're a little faded. Because I just want you to be able to read it properly. So I do go back and do that too. At least on the colored blocks, the actual like speech bubbles I don't because most of it's white. It's not perfect, but most of it's white. They kind of keep it that way. But the colored blocks, I'll re-outline the words so we can actually tell what the hell's going on. I know sometimes you can't. Because it does all kind of blend in together. But I also kind of like this too, because now you kind of see a little more of their personality almost. A little bit. Not too much. But just the kind of way they react with stuff. But she's used to fighting a right, and the rest of them aren't, so she can handle them pretty well. But now she's gotta make sure the other three don't get hurt. That's a lot of work in itself, because they don't like to listen, apparently. That's why they're here, because she told them not to come, but they did anyways. Now she's gonna take care of all of them. That's why she's focused on getting them out of the way before she does anything else, so she doesn't want them hurt. But that comes a lot up with the bumpy rides. But I kind of like the way I did her, especially with the black, the purple, and the gray, because I think it kind of gives the black a nice little dimensional look. So it's not just basic. Because I was trying to do that with the rest of the panels too, but they're a little smaller. But I was still trying to make it to where she had like some dimension going on. And again, that's also why on her too, I kind of made the lines scratchy to kind of give the idea of fur. So that's what I needed right there. Which it kind of works. I know I probably should work on trying to do fur a little more, but again, that's not really me. So I don't mind giving the effect of it almost with making the line scratchy, which I think kind of makes sense. Because it's like, first glance, it's like, oh, okay, it's not smooth. Because animals aren't smooth, unless some of them aren't. Especially the furry ones, like they're gonna have something there. So the hair would be smooth though, because it's hair. But at least I can have an excuse for the fur to not be super perfect, because it's gonna be scratchy. So that kind of makes sense. And it works. But pretty fun. But I think her colors work well, especially with the greens, like in her hair and stuff too. Like you can tell how easy they blend. That's also why I like the Prisma colors too, because even they kind of blend really well with like other colors. So it's cool looking. I mean, you kind of lose effect a little bit with the marker, but it's like on top at least, it blends nicely. So it almost gets rid of those harsh edges. That's why I don't really blend with the marker, because I'm like, to me, there's no point. Because the Prisma colors kind of do most of the work for me in the first place, especially when I do blend them out. But yeah, so there's that gray. I don't use a ton of it, but it's like just enough to kind of just give an extra effect so it doesn't make the black look super flat, especially when I do blend them together. It just gives a nice little extra something. But yeah, so you can see when I blend them out, it just has that nice little shine and shimmer and everything. So it just makes it look good. At least I think so anyway. But then we got the white highlights to finish her off. Now I'll go in and outline Myra really quick. Nothing fancy, just something super, super quick. Or the satisfaction part, I should say, because that's what this is. Sorry, yeah, you can't really tell. I was trying to get it to where, like, I had the light kind of turned away a little bit so there was less glare, but just didn't work out super well. But you can kind of see what I'm doing to give it the nice little effect it needs. And that's also why I kind of go back in and draw the fur too, is to kind of give that effect. Because it's like, I don't want to draw the fur several times, because it's like, I'm not going to be able to copy it exactly the second time, so it's going to look kind of weird. So that's why it's like, just give the illusion when I'm coloring it with the scratchy lines. Then I kind of go back in and just give it somewhat more detail with the official lines. So to me, that's what makes sense. That's also why I do that. It's more work, but yeah. Alright, and here is the final look. Yay! I actually think it actually looks kind of, but yeah, you can see that middle panel what I'm talking about. But yeah, so the blurred out background as they're going down. Yeah, so again, I gave right in the background. But yeah, so we have detail, it's kind of really clear. And then I kind of blur out Slyssa and Arlathia. And same thing here. We're going to focus on the characters, not the actual background. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!